The Twins trade 10 guys off their Major League roster. Full reaction coming on that. Plus, you'll meet one of West Fargo's rising baseball standouts. Hot Mic on a Friday starts now.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to the Who Exactly Plays for the Twins edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra. KSFL TV, good morning in Sioux Falls. KNBN in Western South Dakota and Inforum.com. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to August. We have officially reached the 8th month of the year. It's, yeah, that's where we're at with the Twins right now. That's good, boys. I enjoy that. Yeah, it's that was mind-numbing. It was busy. It was bewildering. Any other B words I could throw in there? It was bizarre. Going back to what we saw at the end of the game on Wednesday at Target Field, that was unprecedented action yesterday by the professional baseball team located in the Twin Cities. I'm not sure still how to react to it. Our poll question we're going to throw up right away here because I'm really interested to see what Twins fans' reaction is today of what went down. And there's 5 stages of grief. I think we put 4 of them up here right now. You can vote on and how you feel about what the Twins did yesterday. Is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it disappointment? Is it acceptance? I didn't put denial on there. That's the other one because there's nothing because I think we knew that they were going to make moves, but I'm really interested to see what people. I don't even know if anger is valid, knowing, and I'm not trying to invalidate anybody's feelings, but it just we knew it was coming. It's between disappointment and frustration for me, honestly, because this is unprecedented what they did yesterday. They made 10 trades, and we're talking guys, not minor leaguers they dealt. These are 10 guys that were on the 26-man roster. So nearly half of the team is gone. Like, if you go to MLB.com this morning, I did this at about 6 o'clock because I need a life, but that's another story for another time. If you look at the current roster, they have to make a bevy of moves, but they have a baseball game to play tonight at 6 o'clock against Cleveland. And I don't know who's going to be on the team, which is beyond bizarre. And the thing that will stick with everybody is obviously they made a trade of their most expensive player. The guy that was supposed to come in here and usher in championship baseball, postseason baseball. They're going to have numerous postseason games at Target Field, and it's going to be a different era. And that was Carlos Correa. Correa was traded yesterday back to the Houston Astros in a deal that is a pure salary dump, folks. There's no other way to sugarcoat it because the Twins are still paying $30 million to get him out of here. They got a minor league guy that's 26 years old that's still an A-ball. There's a fascinating story on The Athletic about this, and I want to read a little snippet of it here in just a little bit on the conversation that Correa had with Derek Falvey on what was going to happen with this baseball team and where they were going. But this was the guy. The Twins signed him after two teams balked at it with his injuries, and I can't believe Kyle Founder or whoever found a photo of the guy they traded for. Is that in college? He's 20. Matt McKill's. If this guy even gets to the major leagues, it'll be a stunner. But it's not about that. It's about the fact that they traded their highest profile guy, their most expensive guy, in a pure salary dump. This is from Ken Rosenthal and Dan Hayes, great baseball writers from The Athletic. Starts out, the first line, the meeting took place on Wednesday, a day before baseball's trade deadline, in a private room adjacent to the home clubhouse at Target Field for an era of the end. If that's not ominous, not sure what else is there to say. After Correa's meeting with Falvey, the Twins played a game in which they seemed to burst from the tension surrounding them. In their 13-1 loss to the Red Sox, they confused utility man Willie Castro with a botched attempt at a late-game send-off and angered setup man Griffin Jack so much that he was caught on camera ranting in the dugout. Then they traded their closer, Yoan Duran, to the Philadelphia Phillies. This is from Correa. The direction we are going, Correa recalled Falvey telling him the previous day, is not the one you signed up for. It just is unbelievable. Once Correa got to Target Field, he sought out Falvey, who confirmed that the Astros had indeed called about a potential trade. The initial discussions, according to a source briefed on the conversations, were not serious. The Astros wanted other major leaguers attached to Correa and for the Twins to pay a sizable amount of his remaining $103 million, which we talked about. I think that's where we left things yesterday on the show. In fact, I think the last tweet we talked about was that negotiations weren't going anywhere because the Twins weren't going to move off of that. Falvey told Correa he would update him if the deal became more feasible from the Twins' perspective. Correa told Falvey the Astros were the only team for which he would waive his no-trade clause. His family lives in Houston. Both his parents and his wife's parents live in Houston. He would be going home. Once he told me they were going into rebuild mode, I said that I deserve to go somewhere where I have a chance to win and my kids can go watch me out there in the playoffs and perform, Correa said. He agreed with me, and he said out of respect for me, he would get it to work. And then here you go. So it's a shocking deal because I can remember we were doing the show and when they signed Correa, and after they gave him the 1-year deal in 22, and everybody balked at bringing him back because of, or re-signing him a long extension. Remember, he was going to play third base next to Francisco Lindor with the Mets, and then he couldn't pass the physical. And the Twins went all in. 6-year deal. And he doesn't even make half of it. Not even half of it. He was the headliner, but the other guys that are traded, some are expected. Willie Castro is moved on. Harrison Bader moved on. Those guys we knew. Danny Kalum moved on. Those guys were on expiring deals, right? That was not going to be a surprise on that. The ones that, Ty France, another guy. Brock Stewart, maybe a little bit because Stewart had another year of team control underneath him. The rest, though, Louis Varland got traded? Louis Varland is a Minneapolis guy. He's a Twin Cities guy. He's under control till 2031. Make me understand that one. He went with Ty France to Toronto. I have to look down. I have to make sure I know where they're going. This is the deal. Varland and France go to Toronto. Kendry Rojas, a left-handed pitcher, Alan Roden, an outfielder, go to the Twins. This one is a head-scratcher to me. I'm still not understanding the fact of why they moved on in this deal. The Twins gave up their 5 best relievers in the process of this yesterday. This was maybe the one that was most shocking. Baseball America has Roden as Toronto's number 7 prospect, while Rojas was number 11. which is a pretty good haul for what is essentially a deal for Varland. But remember, France is an impending free agent. The deal is puzzling, though, given the Twins emptied their bullpen with several other trades. Varland is under team control for another 5 years. It is enjoying a breakout year. Varland got good. I think after whatever they discussed with him, because you remember they tried Louis as a starter at the beginning of last year, and it didn't work. He's become pretty reliable there. It's a good prospect haul for Varland, particularly if you consider the volatility of relief pitchers, I guess. It's just shocking. Kyle made a graphic here. These are the guys that the Twins are getting back. And you're going to sit here and we don't know any of these players. There are no major league. Well, Taj Bradley is. And James Outman, then he immediately set him down to AAA after the deal. Outman came from the Dodgers as the Brock Stewart deal. Tate and Abel were part of the Duran trade. Taj Bradley comes over. That was I have to get that was part of the Griffin Jacks deal because Griffin Jacks got traded to Tampa yesterday. This is the breakdown of that trade. There was considerable discussion in the weeks leading up to the deadline about whether the Twins would trade Duran or Jacks. They traded both. Also a surprise, instead of getting a prospect package, they received Bradley, a young cost control pitcher who's not there till 2023, who already has made 67 career starts for Tampa, averaged more than a strikeout per inning in his Major League Baseball career. I mean, I picked a random game from earlier this year we showed highlights of. 3 of the guys are there, which is maybe not all that surprising because there's Varland. You saw Bader, who got traded to Philly, and then our guy, I really like Griffin Jacks. And I mentioned this, the relievers can get you back something. I didn't expect them to trade all of their relievers. That's the part that's unbelievable. So I'm looking on the active roster right now. And again, it's a complete fire sale. It's a complete salary dump, and you can be mad at the owners, and I'm right there with you. But right now it's more, I don't know if shock is the right word, than anything. This is the active pitchers that are on the Twins roster as of 9:12 a.m. You have Simeon Woods Richardson, Justin Topa, glad they held on to him, Michael Tonkin, who throws underhanded, Cole Sands, Joe Ryan, who there was some momentum, I think, late yesterday that there was a potential that Ryan could be traded, Zebby Matthews, Cody Funderburk, and Noah Davis, somebody called Noah Davis. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 8 pitchers right now on the active roster. When's the last time you threw a baseball hard, Strecker? He wants to get back he can get back on the mound. They need him. They have their 2 catchers. This is the infielders they have left. Cody Clements, Mickey Gasper, Brooks Lee, and Royce Lewis. They have 4 infielders. That's last I checked, you play 4 guys in the infield. Outfielders, this is what they have left. Deshaun Kersey Jr., Trevor Larnach, Matt Wallner. That's it. I've never seen anything like this before. So it goes without saying there's going to be some moves today. Eddie Julien, we've already heard, is coming back up, which is no surprise. 1, 2, 3. I'm just sorry, I could actually add this on the air. 3 and 4 is 7, 2 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, there's 17 guys. There's 17 guys on the active roster right now. Last I checked, I believe it's 26 that you can carry. So they have to move up 9 guys between now and 6 o'clock for first pitch in Cleveland. Got a bunch of emails on this. I think we already know what the anger is going to be the leader in the clubhouse in terms of emotions on this. And again, that's totally justifiable. But it has to be pointed at ownership on this. The pull ads were going to try and save as much money as they can. Now, they're going to get whatever money, $70 million. They're not going to invest that back in the team because they're trying to sell it. And I had a bunch of comments on this as well. Like, how did the Rays go in like 4 days? And the Twins have been out for almost a year now, and no one's bought them yet. Remember that Justin Ishbia was flirting with that, and he ended up buying an increased stake in the White Sox. This is again from that same story from The Athletic, and I encourage you to read it because it's pretty in-depth on this. The Athletic reported the Pohlad family was seeking $1.7 billion for the franchise and carrying $425 million of debt, one of the highest figures among the league's 30 teams. Though payroll increased ahead of the 2025 season, it still has not come on to its previous heights. The Twins' only offseason additions were free agent left-handed reliever Danny Kalum, outfielder Harrison Bader, and first baseman Ty France. They all were traded yesterday. Paddock, of course, got dealt as well. And Paddock was throwing shade at the Twins when he was asked about now coming to the Tigers, saying about how great the nutrition area is, the kitchen area. So what do the Twins have or don't have at Target Field? I'll got to do some producing on the fly, but when you get a second to find the video from yesterday about the bizarre end of the Twins game yesterday, because we're going to use that with Cory Provus as well. It seems fitting we got Cory coming up later, who just texted me a little while ago. They just landed in Cleveland. I can't even imagine what that situation is going to be. But Cory will join us coming up here in just a few minutes. That you go back, go ahead and play it when you can, but just again of how weird it was at the end of in the ninth inning of the game on Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon that Willie Castro comes off. And he hadn't been traded yet, but it was some bizarre deal. They sent Ty France out there, and they already started the ninth inning. So, like Rocco said, he wanted to give Castro some kind of send-off, which was odd to begin with. And that, we're not even talking yet of the Griffin Jacks whole deal. So this is the last memory we're going to have of Griffin Jacks as a Twin. And here's a guy, again, they developed, became a really good pitcher. That he came in a game, and again, like Rocco was saying, we're trying to protect him because we got some big series coming up. I mean, come on. What are we doing? You know, Baldelli comes out. He wants the ball. You can see Jack, he wants no part of coming out of the game. I mean, you don't really see this a whole lot, that a pitcher will show up the manager because he doesn't want to come out of the baseball game. I mean, it was just so bizarre, the whole thing was. And he comes out, like, if you look at, he's asking for the ball. And the part that maybe is the most damning of the whole thing is the Red Sox broadcast picking up this, where he's still mad. He's yelling at Baldelli after he came out of the game. And they patched it up afterwards, but it's just... It was a really odd week, folks. That's the only way I can tell you. And now they've moved on. I mean, who knows here? Is Cody Clemens going to have to be one of the pitchers? Who's the guy that's pitched a ton this season? I can't remember now. Is he even on the roster anymore? The utility, yeah. Who's the utility guy who was pitching all the time? I can't remember his name now. That tells you how bad things are. Oh, man. But that's where they're at. So we'll see. I'm looking at the 40-man roster and remember, Buxton's hurt right now. I mean, can we see Carson McCusker come back up? Austin Martin hasn't really been up all year. Neither is Miranda. Again, reports are out there that Julien's coming back up. But this is going to get bad, folks. I mean, we still have 2 months of a season left. And this is still going to have to play out. Who's going to go to the games? A lot of questions. We'll try and answer them here over the next hour and 40 minutes or so. It seems fitting as we look at our guest lineup, which is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual, that Cory Provus joins us each and every Friday. He will try and answer as best he can on what's going on with the baseball team because this is shocking. I think that was the general assessment around baseball as well. So Cory will join us coming up. He just texted me, he'll be about 2-3 minutes late, but he'll be joining us as they just landed in Cleveland to get ready for the series tonight with the Guardians. At 10 o'clock, you'll meet Cason Borchardt from West Fargo Horace High School, who is one of, I think, the best baseball players in our state. Young ones as well, that he's certainly burst through. Had a big-time summer. You'll meet him coming up at 10 o'clock. And at 10:35, we have not had him on in forever. My pops will join us. The Yankees made some moves yesterday. We're going to chat about that. There's a NASCAR track hosting a baseball game tomorrow. A bunch of other good stuff with my pops. And we got NFL games now on television. So we're getting ready for the start of his weekly segments coming up. Probably by the end of the month, Dad will join us on a regular basis. But we'll check with him today about that and a bunch more. So a lot to get to here on a busy Friday. Glad you're joining us. When we come back, Trey Lance made his Chargers debut. We got football highlights to show. That and much more on a Friday morning. We're back right after this. Welcome back, everybody, on a crazy Friday already to start our show after what went down yesterday in downtown Minneapolis. I mean, the Twins didn't even play, and it was just on fire kind of day. Cory Provus is going to join us about 15 minutes from Cleveland. Twins getting ready to play out it's playing out the string now. I mean, it's 2 months of this that we're going to have, and I'd be real interested. If they were playing tonight at home, how that would have gone over. The signs in the stands, I mean, they confiscated signs, what was that, a couple years ago? When they wanted Rocco gone? Remember that? Like, how would that go over if the Twins were playing at home tonight? As it is, they're not home until a week from now. By then, I mean, emotions will have sided, will have tempted down by then. But who's going to come? They have the Royals coming up next weekend for 3. And then they're back on the road, and then they come back in the middle of August for Detroit and I'm going to call them the Oakland A's. Let me tell you something right now. That series, the middle of August, the 19th or the 21st, you can walk up and sit wherever you're going to want to. Ain't nobody going to go to those games. Yeah, it's the only thing I could say. They're on the road quite a bit in August because they only have, 4 home series in the month of August. Maybe that's a good thing they're out of town because I don't know. The flip side of that, I don't know who's going in September either. I mean, it's going to be rough. More on that coming up in just a little bit. Wanted to show, because there was football played last night. That took away at least my frustration level, what was going on, of reading the recap of what went down across Twins territory. That the NFL Hall of Fame game was played in Canton, Ohio last night. Chargers against the Lions. And that meant the debut for a few guys, including one, Trey Lance, who got the Jim Harbaugh pump-up speech before the game. And Trey played really well last night, folks. And you can say whatever you want about competition level. He throws a touchdown pass after the Lions turn the ball over early to give the Chargers an early 7-0 lead. This is a great throw. It's a great throw, good catch. Over the shoulder there. That's in command of the offense. That play went for 19 yards down the sidelines. Again, just a nice ball there. We haven't seen him, frankly, throw the ball like that. How about this zinger over the middle that goes for 17 yards? After the Chargers go up here, it's 14-7 in the second quarter. Another good, strong throw over the middle. I think as people were reacting, watching the game on social media last night, like, the Trey Lance looks pretty good. Smiling with Jim Harbaugh. Here's second touchdown pass of the game. A little inside bubble screen there. That made it a 21-7 Charger lead. And we played the sound earlier in the week that Harbaugh wanted Trey to play into the third quarter. Here's a little dump off that goes for 15 yards. That was his final play of the night. That came in the third quarter. You see his stat line, 13 of 20, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty darn solid last night for, preseason game. No turnovers, took 1 sack. That's what you're looking to see. And you can, again, grade it against what he was playing against. He's not playing against the Lions regulars. Aiden Hutchinson wasn't out there for the Lions on their defensive line last night. But for a guy who's fighting for his NFL career, I don't think there's any overstating that. It's his third team in 5 years. Looking for basically a stable place, a chance to show what he can do. That was pretty darn good. Afterwards, listen to these comments made by both Trey and Harbaugh after the game last night.
I mean, every place is different. Every coaching staff is different. Every team is different. It's been fun to be here. I've really enjoyed it. Like just the joy that guys around the building have, the joy the coaching staff has. Coach Day and Justin are a huge part of it as well. But yeah, every place is different. I don't know if I could put my finger on necessarily one thing other than it's a joyful place to be. People really enjoy it, and I've enjoyed being here.
Trey Lance, big night for Trey. Just played calm, played cool, collected, ran the operation. Thought he threw the ball really well, and good night for him.
Again, if you get that kind of praise out of Harbaugh, you're probably doing something right, considering the man doesn't say a whole lot, or speaks in code. But that was a solid night, and he's going to get a chance to play. Justin Herbert's not going to play, I would imagine, 1 snap throughout the next, because the Chargers play the Hall of Fame game, so they'll still play 3 more preseason games. Trey should get plenty of run here. And just to feel confident, good about himself. You heard Chris Collinsworth talk about, if you watched the broadcast last night, and they brought up the graphic. I mean, he is, and this is going to sound like a homer excuse because I covered him and we saw it firsthand. He still has barely played, folks. He played 17 starts in college, right? He's played in 12 NFL games over 5 years. That's not enough yet to get a evaluation of him. I don't believe it's the case. If you want to say that's a homer, then fine. I'll take the hit on that. I just don't believe there's been enough evaluation of him yet to throw it away. And you saw the traits again last night of what he's able to do. He's got a good arm. He's huge, and he can move. It's going to be really interesting to see what transpires here over the next little bit. Fighting to be the backup quarterback, and that's a big deal. I mean, backup, you're right there. Maybe that's not what he signed up for in being the number 3 overall pick when he came out of NDSU in the the spring of 2021, but this is his opportunity now. And we've seen guys who've been solid backups then become starters on other teams. Get that opportunity. That's all he's looking for. He's got the right guy to do it. Harbaugh, for all of his quirks, if there's one thing he knows, is quarterback. Look what he's done at his other stops. I mean, Colin Kaepernick, for everything you want to say off the field, was a heck of a quarterback for San Francisco. Got him to the Super Bowl when Harbaugh was the coach there. I mean, Viking fans have got all their hopes on J.J. McCarthy. Who was J.J.'s coach in college? It was one Jim Harbaugh. Right? It got most out of McCarthy. Certainly seemed it that J.J. was a pretty darn good player. I know he was surrounded by all-stars in that team in Michigan, but that was Harbaugh was the quarterback whisperer there. I think this is the guy, and the fact of the matter is he played the position. Say what you will about the spots he's been in before, right? Kyle Shanahan is an offensive guru. He didn't play it to the level that Harbaugh did. Mike McCarthy is what he is. I think he liked Trey Lance. I think Jerry Jones liked the idea of Trey Lance, just didn't. He was going to play with Dak Prescott. And I know he's not going to play with Justin Herbert there, but it's a chance to at least get him on the right path of his NFL career. That's what I'm intrigued to see. And we'll see over the next month here. Again, he's going to get plenty of run in the preseason, and it was a good start. Chargers play their next game a week from Sunday against the Saints. That'll be on the NFL Network, so you'll have a chance to check that out. Their final 2 games are against the Rams and the 49ers in the preseason. So he'll have the Trey Lance Revenge Bowl coming up before preseason football is done. And then it's on to the regular season. So good start last night. I know for a lot of people that were watching, a lot of Bison fans that were watching last night, felt pretty good to see him out there slinging it the way he did. All right, we're overdue for a break. We'll take one now. We got caught up. Cory Provus will join us from Cleveland, give us his reaction, what he saw yesterday as the Twins tear down their roster on trade deadline day. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns right after this.
Deep to left center field. Back it goes and gone. The 0-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging at 101. Swinging a drive. Left field and deep. Back it goes and gone. And the Twins walk it off again.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Cory Provus will join us in just a moment. Again, they're just getting to Cleveland here, so he'll join us in just a couple minutes to give us his take on what went down. He did tweet this out yesterday, which I appreciate always, and that's why I love having him on for the last 2 years that we've had. Said, today was truly a transformative day in the history of Twins baseball. We anticipated action, but never in my wildest imagination did I expect 10 players traded off the 26-man roster. Plenty to discuss, digest, and debate. We'll get into it right away tomorrow night at 6 Central Time, meeting tonight. So, and again, he texted me saying that they just checked in and he'll get to us here as soon as possible, which hopefully is in the next couple minutes. And again, just to reiterate, if you missed the top of the show, and knowing full well went down, they made 10 trades yesterday, varying in guys that we thought would go, like Harrison Bader. No surprise there. Willie Castro, he went to the Chicago Cubs yesterday. Obviously, in the Paddock deal went down. Those are not surprising trades. The ones that did go down, the ones that are earth-shattering, Correa obviously comes to mind. Duran for when he went. Griffin Jackson when he went to. Here he is. The man himself is joining us here in Cleveland. Cory Provus, his appearance is brought to us by Welton's Tire Service. We just read your tweet you put out yesterday, my man. I think all of us still kind of shaking our heads. Like, that was real. That actually went down yesterday. All right, welcome back, everybody. I think we got Cory hooked up there on the phone. Apologize for our technical issues there. Reflecting on what went down with the Twins yesterday during trade deadline. So Cory joins us via the phone. All right, bud. So just give us your overview. Why you're spectating yesterday, getting ready to travel. What went through your mind, seeing everything that went down?
You know, I was putting together a power washer. And I'm kind of watching MLB Network and just kind of following along. And then when the Correa news popped, I was like, no way. And my wife's like, what happened? And I'm telling her. And then one after another, it was just like, you got to be kidding me. I've just never been through, a deadline like that. And, I don't know if I don't think that's what they had in mind. I don't think that's what the front office had in mind 2 days ago. I thought they were going to get rid of a few guys, but then when the Correa stuff picked up steam, and then I just think they got some offers. And as the last 15, 20 minutes of the deadline was about to expire, I just think the offers kept coming in, and the interest rose when I think other teams saw there might have been some chum in the water here. If they're getting rid of this guy, getting rid of that guy, why don't we get in and see if we can pry away that guy? And in the end, 10 guys off the 26-man roster is just a stunning turn of events.
The one that the Correa one is obviously going to get the headlines on it. I go back, Corey, and we were playing the video earlier before you came on of what happened in the ninth inning Wednesday. It was clumsy. It was bizarre. It was weird. Take me through what your thought process is. You're seeing Castro get pulled. Griffin Jacks was certainly PO'd about getting removed from the game. Take me through what you were thinking seeing that happen.
Well, the Castro one, I mean, everything that we saw, it had all the indication like he was traded. Like there was a deal that was done, and word got to the dugout that you have to get Castro off the field. And that's what we were going on. It just, there was nothing of that visual that said otherwise. I mean, everything that you look, and I've been there. I've done games where guys come off the field when they've been traded, and that hit every note. So then to find out that he wasn't, that it was just kind of be of a final goodbye, that was not handled well. And then, the Griffin Jacks decision, at that point, when Jacks came in by rule, the Twins could not use a position player to pitch just yet. They were down 7. The rule is you have to be down 8 or more. So you can say, all right, so a pitcher had to pitch, but why Griffin? Why not somebody else? And what Rocco said postgame was like, in the best interest of the team, based on who could throw, who threw the day before, who was down, Griffin was our best option at that point. And Griffin's reaction, I think, was obvious because those were his runs.
Yep.
And when you see a position player come in, and you're like, the likelihood of those runs scoring is probably pretty high, and that's going to impact my ERA. And for a guy like Griffin Jacks, and I get it, relievers especially, that matters. So he was upset. He showed that, and I guess post-game, he apologized, went into Rocco's office, and said, I can't do that. And I think they smoothed it over. But it was a clumsy, odd, not really well-run ninth inning in many regards.
Just that was just odd to see it play out. So the one that struck me, you mentioned the Correa deal, which is obviously the headline one. The one that has me shaking my head as well is the Louis Varland trade. Like, I understood Ty France, Corey, of him moving on because that was one of the guys we expected. But Louis Varland, we didn't expect to be going anywhere. That one I'm still shaking my head about as well.
Yeah, that was the one. I think we're emotional about that one for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
I think, number one, who he is, where he's from. We've got to know him from day one, his family. I think that is a part of the emotional attachment here. And I think not far behind, though, is the fact that he was under team control for the next, 4 to 5 years.
Right.
So what I found today, and I'm just following a thread here from some of the Blue Jay beat writers, is that Toronto has been in on Varland the last couple of years. That they really like Louis Varland, and that his profile enhanced even more with the success he was having as a bullpen arm. I think Louis goes to Toronto as a bullpen arm, but I just doing the homework here, if they've been in on him the last couple of years, I think that they might want him to start again.
Wow.
That I think that they are not ready to slam the door shut on Varland being a starter. Not this season, but it wouldn't shock me if spring training 2026, if he's in their plans to maybe start. But I just think as the negotiation picked up, I think the offer got better. What the Twins were going to get back in return, and bullpen arms, it's a volatile role. The velocity that these guys throw, the workload that these guys take on, injury is pretty high. And what the Twins get back is they get a major league ready player in Alan Roden, a guy that they like, and he's a guy that had a great spring training, and we heard about him in spring training because he was going to make the team. He did make the team. Small numbers so far in the big leagues this season, but a pretty good resume in the minor leagues. I think he probably is traveling to Cleveland like now. Of all the guys that I think that may join the team as early as tonight, I think he would probably be highest on that list. And then the prospect that's in that deal is a dude. I mean, he's a AA, AAA starter lefty that is potential mid to front line guy in Kendry Rojas. So I think the package was overwhelming. I think that they were kind of blown away while they didn't want to part ways with Louis. I think what they got back in return I think made this an easier decision to make than it was maybe 2 days ago.
The Duran trade, Corey, give me your 2 cents on that, of that going down and what they got back, because we heard the Twins were trying to hold out for Painter, the top Phillies prospect. They got a couple top 100 guys, which we discussed last week. That hadn't happened in the last 2 years of the deadline.
Yeah, and there were certainly more movement. So that was a 1 year anomaly, because there were top prospects moved.
No,
this cycle in a way that we didn't see last year. Mick Abel is somebody that who debuted this year. He's a former first round pick. He's a starter. I think we'll see him at some point with the Twins here relatively soon. He's not going to go in this series, but it wouldn't shock me if he's up relatively soon. But I think the prospect that they got back in that deal is the young catcher. And I think his last name is pronounced Tait. I think it's Eduardo Tait. And catching has gone really thin in the Twin system rather quickly, with Jair Camargo injured and Diego Cartaya not panning out, and just not seeing enough in terms of catching coming up to the system. So with what they did there, it made some sense. And then also the catching prospect they got in the Chris Paddock trade. I think they're trying to shore up some catching. Now, these two guys, Tait and Enrique Jimenez, are like 18, 19 years old.
Right.
These are not going to be immediate impactful players, but I just think it speaks to where the system is at right now, where the depth and really the lack thereof is at right now with the catching in the organization. So we're not going to know. I mean, that's the thing about all this, is that we will not know how the Twins did in all this for a long time to come. Prospects are prospects until they prove themselves.
Yep.
And there's nothing that a young player enjoys doing more than shedding that prospect label and proving that they are a star. They are an everyday player. We will have no idea how this looks, the ramifications of this, how they did for years to come. It's a drastic change. Right now, we don't feel good about it because the Twins are just simply not as good today as they were 2 days ago. Yeah. They lost 40% of their roster. There's no way you can say that and be truthful. But what does this mean long term? You hope these guys pan out.
Yeah.
We all do. All of them won't. They won't. But if all the players they got back, if 4 or 5 hits, then years from now we're going to be like, okay, this looks better. But at the time, and I think we live in the present right now, which is what I do, I don't feel great about it because the Twins are just not as good today as they were a couple of days ago.
The easy question now is, who's coming up? They only have 17 guys. I mean, they have to make 9 moves between now and 6 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah, I have no idea. From a bullpen standpoint, I have no idea what that could look like. I'd be lying to you if I told you what that bullpen could look like.
Yeah.
In terms of positional players, I would imagine that Eddie Julian is coming back up. I would imagine Austin Martin is coming up. Those are just 2 names that certainly come to mind. You get some infield help, you get some outfield help, you get a right-handed hitter. I don't think Jose Miranda necessarily comes up, but I think Julian and Martin right now certainly come up, and then we'll wait and see. I would have no idea what the bullpen is going to look like, but Cole Sands and Justin Topin and Cody Funderburk, that's who's left, and and Noah Davis, who was here the other day. I mean, there's just going to be a whole new group, and not to mention, Joe Ryan's pitching tonight.
Yeah.
How does this impact him? I mean, where is he at mentally? My understanding too is that Byron Buxton is here. That he was going to make the trip. He's eligible to be activated for Wednesday's game in Detroit. He's on the IL. He's not required to speak to the media, but I wonder if he will. And that to me is such a pressing question. Is that as Byron was watching all this unfold yesterday, he's got a no-trade clause, but is he like, wait a minute, if everybody's going, do I still want to be here? And, Derek Falvey did hold a media session last night, and he didn't get too specific about Byron, saying that we did have conversation, but did not go beyond that. So if Byron is indeed here, if those plans did not change, he's going to be a popular guy. Doesn't mean he's going to talk tonight, but he's certainly going to be a popular guy that people are going to try to seek out.
Cory, how do you evaluate the Correa tenure with the Twins?
Disappointing. I just think disappointing. I just think, this year especially, he just was having a terrible year.
Yep.
I mean, he was setting career lows in just about every single category. I tell you this, though, I got to know him a little bit, not saying we were buds, but I got to know him a little bit, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching him play. I think watching him play shortstop is a thing of beauty. Just watching the grace that he plays that position with, and the arm strength and the technique and the preparation. And yes, the errors were higher this year. The range was starting to go down, and I think him moving to third base makes all the sense in the world. And maybe that was going to be the long-term plan here. We'll never know. But I think in the end, with how it ended, I just think it was a disappointing, kind of finish. But 2023, he was great in the postseason. He was awesome, and that's what made him an attractive piece, was that he's a big-time postseason player, and he had a really good postseason offensively, defensively in 23, and then had a good season last year. I mean, he was an all-star last year. His first half was fantastic.
Yep.
And then the second half with the plantar fasciitis, everything fell apart. But, this year was just a down year. The clutch numbers weren't there. The lack of power, the lack of just a big hit. I think of one big swing he made this season. That was the Andres Munoz. I'm sorry, that was the 10th inning swing, not off Munoz in Seattle. That helped win that thrilling game, that Friday game in Seattle. But that was few and far between. So I think he's somebody that is as analytically driven as any player I've encountered. And he'll tell you that in terms of his WAR, in terms of his WRC plus, he did not play up to his capability this season.
I have to ask just before, and I really appreciate you doing this, the flexibility of making this happen today, especially you guys just getting into Cleveland. You mentioned on your tweet about addressing all this on the broadcast. How do you wrap your mind around that, or how do you wrap your arms around how you address this and talk about it on the broadcast tonight? You got to do a game as well.
Well, I think, honestly, it's easier to do this on TV than it would be on radio.
Mm-hmm.
Because radio, you have to call the game.
Yep.
You have to call the game on radio. The game is going on. You can't ignore it. I think with TV, and again, we're hoping that Derek is going to join us tonight. There's a lot to kind of pick at here that I don't need to call every single pitch and every single play because you can see it. So I think that the medium that we work in, I think, helps explain or get to the bottom of some of this. We're not going to get every answer, and I know that fans are going to be upset that I didn't ask this and didn't ask that. Well, we're just not going to get the answer to every question that's out there. It's just how it's going to be. All we can do is ask. I can't control the answers. I can somewhat control the questions, and we can put it out there, and however it goes, it goes. But I think we're doing ourselves a disservice. We're doing the audience a disservice if we don't address it. That's the big story is, yes, the Twins are playing the Guardians tonight, but what happened in the last 24 to 36 hours is item number one.
Yeah.
And if we don't address that at the top and in the broadcast, then we are just not doing anybody, we're doing a disservice to our fans, to everybody watching, to Twins territory. So we're going to get into it, and we'll get into it right away tonight.
Last thing, Bud, before I let you go, we had a poll question out today about asking Twins fans their emotions. It's the 5 stages of grief. I left out denial because I think everyone knew this was coming. But how do you handle this? For fans, I think there's going to be frustration, anger. I think there might be some acceptance, maybe knowing this was coming. Especially when you get back home next week? I'm really intrigued to see what the fan outpouring is going to be. There's still 2 months of a baseball season to go.
I think fans are upset.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I mean, there was a tweet that I saw this morning from one of the national beat writers. I think his name is Anthony Castrovins,
Yep.
and he covers national baseball for MLB.
Saw that too.
And his tweet was like, if the Twins were so bad, why did other teams want these 10 players? And if you take a step back and look at that from 30,000 feet, they had a good roster. This was a good roster on paper. And I'm not saying a World Series roster, but this was a playoff caliber roster in March. What happened?
Yep.
Why did things fall apart? why did so many guys underperform at the same time? Those are big questions. Those we can pick at why do they trade this guy? But it just speaks to these decisions were made because the roster, and it's not just the players. I think it's the coaches too. Development. It's a team effort here. Why did this roster underperform in such a massive way? And that, to me, I think is what drives the fan anger and frustration right now. And those are all valid feelings. Those are all valid emotions to have. And I don't blame them. They're their favorite team, and now it's a shell of what it was just a couple of days ago. And what does this mean? I mean, I'm a season ticket holder. I believe in this team. I committed to this team, but I didn't get that commitment back. So where does this leave me? Where does this leave me as a fan that I paid a subscription to watch Twins TV, and I'm not getting my money's worth? So all these emotions, I think, are pretty fair. They're pretty raw and understandable because people love their team. They love their Twins, and they want to be a part of the Twins. And it didn't fire, and we saw a drastic day where this roster is no longer what it was earlier in the week.
You're the man. Thanks so much for juggling today. Have a great call, and we'll talk to you next week, okay?
All right, thanks, Tom. See you, buddy.
There goes Cory Provus joining us from Cleveland this morning as, again, reaction shaking your head on what went down there. His appearances each and every Friday brought to us by Welton's Tire Service. We'll break. We come back. We'll start our second hour. You'll meet Cason Borchardt from West Fargo Horace, one of the rising baseball standouts in North Dakota. That's coming up on the other side of the break. We're back right after this.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, a little late on that. We appreciate Cory going long. We had plenty to chat about with what went down with the Twins, and we'll get back into that coming up later on in the show. Got a special guest to wrap things up before we're done here this morning. Final hour of the week. I've been looking forward to having our next guest on for a bit because he's been tearing up baseball diamonds for the better part of, at least 3 or 4 years, and now he's going to get a chance to play on the big-time stage next week. Out of West Fargo Horace, Cason Borchardt joins us, who's about to be a junior this upcoming year, and he's been literally all over the country. That's why it's had a hard time to track him down because he's playing ball all over the Continental 48. It's great to see you, Buck. Congratulations. Tell us about this past summer, getting your name out there to obviously for colleges, for what's going ahead. What has this been? Has it been a whirlwind for you?
Yeah, so I've been all over. To start the summer, we were in Kansas City, and then it was home for a couple days after that, went over to Boston. After that, was home for a couple days, and then I was in Atlanta for 2 weeks. But playing with the Blizzard, it's a great opportunity to get my name out there. You know, Adam Barta does a great job of helping us get recruited and helping us get our name out there.
You know, you just got selected. I know we had Tay Rich from Moorhead on when he got selected to Team USA for the Midwest region to play in this event in North Carolina coming up. I believe you told me next week already. This is a big deal. This is, select amount of guys from the upper part of the Midwest. When you got the phone call, what were your emotions when you found out you were selected?
Yeah, so I've done it the last 2 years, but then this year I wasn't planning on doing it. But then one of the coaches that I've stayed in contact with from USA texted me and reached out and wanted to see if I was interested in doing it again this year, and told him why not. So I'm super excited to go down there again and compete.
So this is old hat?
Yeah.
For those of us that don't know, what is this event and what kind of exposure can you get out of an event like this?
Yeah, so this is not the final stage for USA, but it's one of like the middle stages. But last year there was a ton of college coaches there, and it's just great exposure, a ton of colleges. And then, obviously making that next step in USA baseball that I would like to do.
Now, we've seen highlights of you both pitching and hitting. So the obvious question is, which one do you prefer?
I haven't decided yet. I like to do both.
Sure, you can do the Ohtani thing. Everybody does that. Describe what stands out about each. Well, I guess what do you like about both? We'll start with pitching because we can see you're left-hander, you throw hard. What do you really like about when you're on the mound?
Yeah, I think it's just being in control of the game. As a pitcher, you kind of have to control the other team, you kind of have to control your team, you control the pace of the game. Yeah, just control every single part of the game.
And how about hitting?
Just everything about it. I love running around the bases. I love doing all that stuff. Play fast, have a lot of energy, and that all comes with hitting. So I just love doing that.
Has baseball always been the thing? Or was there another sport you did when you were a younger kid before now baseball has become 24/7 for you?
Yeah, I played basketball and football when I was little, but then once I started playing baseball year round, I kind of had to quit those and focus more on baseball.
Was it just you had the aptitude for it? Was a love for baseball? Like what drove you to say, okay, I'm going to put all my, all the eggs in the baseball basket per se?
Yeah, my brother played baseball growing up and playing in college, so just always being around that and watching him play, I think that kind of just made me fall in love with it even more.
So you mentioned we were just visiting off air before you came on about traveling all over. You've been to spots already for your age that some maybe never have been. What have you had a chance just to appreciate what you've been doing? Just regardless of the baseball stuff, you're traveling all over the country.
Yeah, usually when we're in those really cool cities, we'll have a morning game and then at night we'll go walk around the city and try to do some stuff while we're there. So it's really cool.
What stand out? Is there one that's been a fun spot to go to?
I think Boston. Boston was really cool.
Did you get to go to you had to go to Fenway at all?
Yeah, we did. We went there twice.
All right.
That was really
what was
cool.
that? What was that experience like?
It was awesome. We did one of the days we did like a stadium tour. So we walked around, we went up to the monster, we did all that stuff, and that was really cool.
Just to have this happen at such a young age, have you just like, oh yeah, I still want to do some stuff that's a kid, like enjoy my summer, or no, this is what I signed up for?
I mean, at the start of the summer, I knew this was going to happen. I mean, I love it, but I like being home too, but then I love being on the road and playing even more.
So, I mean, when you're home, you mentioned you're home for just a couple days. What do you do? You just soak it in like, hey, I'm just going to go, hang out with my buddies, just sleep in. What have you been doing?
Yeah, you just hang out with my friends, spend a lot of time at home, sleep in, all that stuff.
If you were to look at like a piece of video of yourself from last year to what you're doing now, what jumps out? Boy, this is way different from my game from, 12 months ago to right now.
Yeah, I think for hitting, it's just hitting for more power and getting more barrels on the ball. I'm a lot more consistent with barreling out balls and just putting a good swing on it.
I know state didn't go the way you guys wanted to. Describe coming back, having the team you have, that you guys are going to be loaded again, the expectations. I know it's not till next spring, but doing this all over again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it didn't end the way we wanted to, but I think we have a really good group of guys coming back next season. We have a lot of experience, and we just want to build off our first 2 years as a varsity team and just try to go win that state championship.
You get a sense now, Cason, you're not sneaking up on anybody. People know who you are. Like, oh, he's pitching today. Better be ready. Or this guy's coming up. Like, have you experienced that yet?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
What is that like, especially around here? Maybe not necessarily on your travel team, which I want to ask about in a second, but when you're playing back here in the spring, what's your reputation you carry? How do you handle that?
I mean, when I'm up at the plate, I don't see a lot of fastballs anymore when I'm back home. And then up on the mound, I feel like people they know who I am. They've seen me for 2 years, so they're always going to be ready, and I just always got to be at my best and compete.
So, you mentioned that. Let me go back to you're not seeing any fastballs. How do you handle, okay, all right, breaking balls coming. I know that there's nothing going to be right down the middle for me anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I always still just look fastball, but then, I always just got to be ready for that breaking ball, especially with 2 strikes. Like, I'm not gonna get a fastball most of the time.
You mentioned your travel team. For those that don't know, how do you hook up with a team like that? And give us the background of the team you play for and where you play and who you play.
Yeah, so my brother played on the Minnesota Blizzard when he was little for a little bit, and that's how I kind of got started. And I started playing when I was 12. I just played fall and winter. And then as I grew more with the team and as I connected more with my teammates, I started playing in the summer. And then so I've been doing that now for the last couple of years all year round. And we go to a lot of cool places, playing a lot of big tournaments, and it's just really awesome.
That's out of Vadnais Heights, correct? That's where you guys play out of? Yeah.
Yep.
So what level of competition are these guys like all-stars from their respective, like what's the competition level you're going up against?
Yeah, a lot of the kids are really good. I mean, we just got back from Atlanta. We were playing a ton of big time schools or big time commits from those big time schools.
Like for the teams that you're playing, are these guys already committed or on the road to, like yourself, on the road to earning a Division I chance?
Yeah, so I play up with a 26 class. So all those kids, not all of them, but most of them are committed to those big time schools already. So it's really cool to play against them.
What's that like, knowing you're playing up a level?
I mean, I've done it since I was really little, so it's just kind of normal now, but yeah.
So off of that you've done it for a bit, was it intimidating when you first started doing, like, okay, I'm playing up an age level that I'm not supposed to be at in theory?
I mean, I've done it since I was like first started playing baseball, so I feel like that's kind of all I've known. I've always been playing up with these guys, so yeah.
When you first got a chance to do it, to play up, what do you remember that, and what was that like? Hey, we're going to bring you up. What do you remember about that?
I don't even remember really. I honestly think it's my parents' decision, so thankfully they made a good decision.
So what's ahead after you get back from North Carolina? Now we're basically, it's late summer. Are you done? Are you playing any other sports, or it's baseball all the time now?
No, I'll be done with my summer season after that, but we start fall with the blizzard here soon in like a month or so, so we're right back at it.
No kidding. So what's that fall schedule like?
It's not as heavy. It's more just kind of Minnesota tournaments, and then I think we do go to Kansas City again, and then I think we're going to Florida too, so that'll be cool.
So when do you actually done? Like, I'm done. Like, hey, I'm putting glove bat down. Is there any time or not so much?
Usually it's like November, December, like around there, January, around that time.
So do you love it so much that you can't get away from it? Like, I'm okay, I want to do something else with baseball.
No, I love it. I would play all year round if I could.
Tell me, like, when you go in the cage, just describe, is there a certain amount of times like, hey, okay, I feel pretty good? Like, how many swings does it take for I feel pretty good? All right, I'm ready to do something else.
I mean, I usually try to hit every day and try to hit for like an hour every day. So just in that hour time span, getting as much swings in as I can.
All right, couple things left here. What's your favorite pitch? What's the one I love to throw? I know I can get somebody out with this.
The last year or so, my changeup has been really good. That's my go-to.
What is that? What's developed on that?
I tried a new grip and I've really liked it. So it's yeah.
Last thing for you, knowing the lineage of guys that have come from West Fargo that have gone on and played professionally, and just the fact how good West Fargo is a baseball town. Now you're coming up into the ranks on that. Describe not necessarily a pressure, but knowing, hey, there's a pretty good lineage of guys from West Fargo that have done it, that I want to be the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to be the next one. It's super cool. Matt Strom, Andy Young, all those guys coming from here. I just, look up to them, and I want to try to be like them and try to get as far as in the game as they did.
It's great to catch up, bud. I know it's been hectic, so I really appreciate you setting aside some time for us today. Good luck coming up in North Carolina, and we'll catch up soon, okay?
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks so much for the time. There he goes, Cason Borchardt from West Fargo. Horace, you're going to need to know his name because everybody else does in the baseball world around here, and he'll be playing, as I mentioned, next week as part of the U.S. National Team Identification Series Champions Cup. It's too long to put on a super across the screen, but that's the deal. That begins next Thursday down in Cary, North Carolina. Tay Rich, who we had on the show last month, also is selected to that team from Moorhead, Minnesota. So two guys from this part of the world going to be playing on the Midwest team down there. Borchardt, as I mentioned, is a 2027 recruit, so the challenge is on there, and I'm sure obviously there's interest. I'd imagine we're going to start hearing about it here in the not-too-distant future about, I think come September 1 is when offers can officially start going out, that I'd imagine you're going to start hearing it for that young man in the not-too-distant future. All right, we'll break. I got a bunch of emails on the Twins we want to get to, and special appearance from my Pops coming up here in about 15 minutes. Looking forward to that. Hot Mic rolls on a Friday morning. Back after this. Welcome back, everybody. All right. Got a bunch of comments here on the Twins. Our thanks to Cason Borchardt, by the way, for giving us a few minutes. That was great. Twins should have kept the players and dumped Rocco. I think everything's on the table, honestly. Whenever new ownership comes in, whoever it's going to be, Falvey is likely gone, and Rocco's probably done. He probably knows it as well. Another email comes in. Dom, did you read the story on The Athletic when they talked to Correa about the trade? I did. I will read one segment of it here on the air. And again, take it for what it's worth. It says, injuries hampered Correa in Minnesota even until his final days. Correa left Tuesday's game with a migraine and did not start on Wednesday while undergoing imaging for issues related to the headaches. Asked on Thursday how he felt physically, Correa said, great, perfect, in a great spot. Remember, he left the game. We showed that to you earlier in the week that went down. And I vividly remember the day that he signed the one-year deal. Because Correa is going to spend it with the Twins in 2022 and was pretty good that year for a team, again, that didn't make the playoffs. And then we mentioned what happened the offseason of 22 into 23, where the Giants nearly signed him. They backed out because of the ankle. The Mets were all in. I remember the text I got that Correa signed him with the Mets. Like, wow, holy cow. This was the same offseason that they spent a gargantuan of money. All right, let's do it. And then the Mets backed out. And the Twins went in 6 years, $200 million, and richest free agent contract that the team has ever done. And as I mentioned earlier, he doesn't even play half of it with the team. It's so unlike the Donaldson deal. It was brought up. Remember, Josh Donaldson signed the richest contract in Twins history, and there was no ill will when they traded Donaldson. I mean, that was like, all right, don't let the door hit you on the way out, because I don't think there was anybody upset that Donaldson left, because I don't think he was a very popular player. That was not the case with Correa, especially in the clubhouse. You can say whatever what the fans thought of him. That was not the case with the Twins clubhouse. So now, what do they do from here is just really interesting. And another email comes in on this. Dom, how do you rank the popularity of the Twin Cities franchises right now? Well, Vikings is number one. It always has been. For a while, I'd say the Twins were two. Not anymore. The Timberwolves are a solid two, especially considering the run they've had over the last 2 years of making it a breath away from the NBA Finals. Yeah. I would put the Wild maybe at 3. Or the Lynx. I mean, and people can roll their eyes at me at that comment. You go back and watch the highlights or watch the rebroadcast of that game Wednesday night. The upper tank was full for the Lynx game against the Liberty. Obviously, some people care about it. I put the Lynx 3 or the Wild, and then the Twins are 5. And that ain't changing for a bit. It just is fact now. With what they've done, and now looking ahead to 2026, it is bleak. Bleak looking ahead on that. And now, I mean, they got 2 months of a season left with, what are we going to do here? A couple more from that article, and again, I can't stress it enough to read it if you're a Twins fan on this. The Twins payroll, $147 million before the trades, is down to $134 million, according to Fangraphs. The team's bigger savings, though, came from the purging of the final 3 guaranteed years of Correa's contract. The Twins sent the Astros $33 million, which, again, is like the Costanza way of negotiating. Go back to the Seinfeld episode where Jerry and George are trying to get the pilot on NBC, and George negotiates with NBC, and actually they get less money for the deal. It's exactly this. Anyway, the Twins sent the Astros $33 million, but saved about $70 million in future commitments to Correa. The price they paid for sticking the Astros with the majority of the contract was a minimal return in talent, getting Matt Mikulski, a 26-year-old left-hander who is yet to rise above A-ball. I think the photo our guys found is him in college. 26 and you're still an A-ball? Not great. Not great. In Falvey's view, though, all is not lost. By acquiring Mick Abel in the Duran trade and Taj Bradley. Thanks, guys. He pitched for Fordham. Great. What do you do? 26 and we're still an A-ball. Come on. In Falvey's view, all is not lost. By acquiring Mick Abel in the Duran trade and Taj Bradley for Griffin Jacks, the Twins add to their strong nucleus of starting pitching. Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez, and Bailey Ober, plus youngsters David Festa, Zebby Matthews, and Simeon Woods-Richardson, plus others rising through the minors. But their position player group, which still includes center fielder Byron Buxton and third baseman Royce Lewis, is in obvious need of reinforcement now that Correa, Castro, and others are gone. And I know the tweet that Cory was referring to, and we got to go to break here, from Anthony Castrovince, who's a MLB writer, saying if the Twins were that bad, then why did so many teams want their players? That's fair. But what in God's name then happened on the field? How was it completely mismanaged that this team completely underperformed 2 out of the last 3 years? To make the playoffs and win a playoff series and have that kind of momentum, and then have the last 2 years unfold where, for 3.5 months of last season, they were pretty darn good. And then we know what happened to the final 2.5 months. And this year, it started early. They were 1-8, 1-9 to start the year. And to have, the 13-game win streak, that mirage that happened, much like last year, was just a mirage. And now you're left now with a team in shambles. And Cory makes a great point on this as well, and now I'll go to break. The franchise asked you to get a subscription to Twins TV, to come find us, because we're not going to be easy to find for some on television, right? To go and do that and then have this be the payoff, that's a tough deal. And it's not, is this going to get any better? They mentioned Festa, Zebby, and Simeon Woods-Richardson, which we've seen quite a bit of. Are we blown away by any of those guys yet? Maybe not Zebby because he hasn't pitched enough, but Festa and Simeon, I think we've seen enough. I'm not ready to rubber stamp and say, those are future aces. Bailey Ober, I'm not there yet. Ober's been bad this year. He was good last year, and then he petered out. And now Pablo's had 2 significant arm injuries. It's not great. It's tough deal. I will say this. This is it for us on the Twins. I'm telling you that right now. We'll show some stuff going forward, but this is our last time we're making big-time consider on the show. We're into football and fall camp and all that good stuff. It demanded it today because of what happened yesterday. But going forward, it's got to be something earth-shattering for us to spend a whole lot of time on it. That's just my editorial decision on that over the last 2 months. We'll break. We come back. We haven't seen him in forever. My pops will join us, get his thoughts on trade deadline day. We got a baseball game and a NASCAR track tomorrow and a bunch more. We'll do that when Hot Mike returns. Other side of the break. Back after this on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KMBN, and Inforum.com. That shot's not in black and white, folks. That's just the amount of smoke that we got going on in the area. It looks like it's in black and white. Welcome back, everybody. Final half hour of the week. We haven't had him on in forever. It's so long I haven't even got his intro ready, so I'm sure he's going to dock me for that. I know. What's up, Pops? What's going on? I know.
Good. How's it going?
We're doing all right. It's gross out here weather-wise. I don't know about back there. How you guys doing?
It's beautiful here.
Yeah,
beautiful day. Nice sunny, 68.
All right, here we go. Rub it in.
Nice breeze off the lake. Nice.
So there's a lot of upset baseball fans here of what went down yesterday. I know you don't pay attention to the Twins because I know what you think of them, but
I do because it makes me laugh. Really,
they traded 10 guys yesterday. 10.
Yeah, they're the only worse mismatched team than the Vikings. Mismanaged team, I mean.
Oh, man.
I mean, the two of them can't even get out of their own way.
Well, the Vikings are getting better. I don't know about that. I'd say the Vikes are doing better. So
they got to prove it to me first. But.
Well, 10 guys? I mean, we've never seen off the roster. It's not like minor league guys or prospects. These are guys that were playing that are now gone.
I know that's an awful lot to get rid of all at once. They just cleaned house, but that's apparently that nobody's happy. Apparently,
No. Well, they got a whole bunch of stuff.
Upper management wasn't happy anyway.
Well, you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to save money, is what they're doing. That's the bottom line on it. So,
well, that's then
exactly
you don't
what they're
really
doing.
want to win.
Nope.
You know, I don't. You know.
That's why it goes to what the commissioner and Bryce Harper, and I'm sure you saw it earlier this week, where the baseball commissioner went into the Phillies dugout or Phillies clubhouse, and Bryce Harper told Manfred to get the bleep out. But it's not about a salary cap. It's about a base. Like, there are teams like the Pirates and the Marlins that are allowed to spend $30 million, and they can't compete with the Yankees and the Dodgers. Like, football has that. You have a minimum amount you have to spend. Baseball doesn't have. They need that in baseball because there's too many teams that aren't even trying. There's way too many.
Well, why would they when they know they can't win anyway? You know, they're not going to get to that upper level.
There's too many that aren't even, like, they're waving the white flag before it even goes. That to me that's not. What are we doing then? You know,
I mean, if you look at the ballparks, they're half empty anyway, in most of those teams. So that doesn't help either.
No,
you know?
but if they know they're not going to win, nobody's going to show up. You know what I mean? It's the chicken and egg
That's
thing.
what I mean. If you don't invest in it, the people are going to just stay home. They're not going to go. Not only that, it costs you a ton of money to go to anywhere,
not cheap.
to a race, to a game, any of them, man. Look at the race. Look at the race at Indy, man. There was nobody there.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
Empty.
So they had section of it. I saw tarped off. Like they had like banners up advertising stuff because there was nobody there.
Yeah. Well, they know who's going to be there just by the ticket sales.
Yeah.
So they just block it off.
That's wild.
It's crazy.
Yesterday, your team made a couple of trades. They got a closer from Pittsburgh. David Bednar is pretty good. The neat part, they actually traded for a guy they were playing against the Rays in the game.
I was watching it when they're doing. He's going around hugging everybody in the dugout. I mean, that's at least he's a base stealer. I mean, he's only got a 220 something average, but
you're in a dogfight here. I'm telling you,
yeah.
It's Toronto, you guys, Boston. This is going to be a fight to the finish here.
That always is, right? That's what you like.
No, that's not what you tell me. That's not what you tell me. It's over in April. The Yankees are winning. It's over. Doesn't even matter.
No, you always tell me it's over. I said, yeah, come see me in October. That's all.
It might
as long as I'm there in October.
It might be over if Judge is out. That's the scary part. Because
what happened to him? I didn't even hear what happened.
Hurt his elbow. So that's the deal. So if he can't come back, that's not good.
Yeah,
not good at
that's
all.
good. Well, they even every once in a while they just don't hit the ball.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. They go 7-8 innings without even a base hit. I said, come on.
And your guy has a job forever. Boone can never be fired. So
I don't understand that, but I wish they'd trade him to Minnesota. Go there.
Well, I think the Twins are going to be cleaning house anyway, so there you go. It may have a chance there.
I mean, Correa can go back and beat on the garbage can. He'll be happy now, so let him go. Who cares?
Yeah, they got them all back together apparently. So it's just you just shake your head at it. So did you watch any of the football game last night?
Yes, I did.
What'd you make of what Trey Lance did last night?
He did all right for himself. He really did.
Yep.
I mean, he's with the best coach as far as a quarterback can go anyway.
I said that earlier. Yeah, I think so.
He's going to be one of the better ones. So
Harbaugh is weird, but he knows what he's doing. You know, that's the part. I mean,
he knows how to handle a quarterback.
Right. I mean, his teams love him. That's the thing. I mean, he can be weird and quirky when talking to the media and being on camera, but his teams love him.
He's always been a little weird.
Yes.
And then you see they did a whole thing on his pants, and he wears black ones.
I did see that.
It's like he had to know that
Of course he does. I think this is a perfect spot for Trey. You know, get a chance to be a backup and because Justin Herbert doesn't ever come off the field. Get a chance here. He needs a chance. He hasn't had an opportunity to play yet.
Yeah, well, that's the way with all of them.
Yeah.
Except for Carson, and once he got hurt, he was done.
Right.
So it's not, it's just crazy. You have 4 multi-million-dollar quarterbacks that never play.
It's the way it goes.
What are you going to do? That's the way it is.
Well, only one guy.
They're all millionaires, though. So
only one guy can play at once. That's the deal. At that position. That's the crazy part.
Well, he's not even guaranteed to be the backup yet, right?
Nope.
Yeah,
that's why. That's why last night was so big. I mean, he needs to keep doing that for the last of the few preseason games that they have. Okay. I saw this yesterday. I didn't even know, frankly, baseball was doing this, so maybe this is an indictment on baseball, that they're having a game tomorrow at Bristol Motor Speedway. They built a baseball stadium inside a racetrack?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'd go in a heartbeat if I was there. That's going to be cool.
Apparently, they sold like 80,000 tickets, apparently, so some people are interested in going.
Well, yeah, I've been there twice, and that place is amazing. It really is.
It's a big
just
cereal
a big
bowl,
bowl,
right? Yeah,
man.
it's a big cereal bowl, right?
Yeah.
I'm interested if you can, like, how much you're going to be able to see of the baseball diamond.
You'll be able, no matter where you're sitting, you're going to have a great seat.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to see everything. But, and you're right on top of it. You really are. It's going to be better than any ballpark, I think. But.
So Bristol has already hosted, I didn't even know this, they hosted an NFL exhibition game in 1961 between Philadelphia and Washington. I knew there was a college football game there in 2016.
Did a college game.
They had 156,000 people that. They're not going to get that tomorrow, but they could have a chance to break the baseball attendance record, which was 84,000 set in 1954 when Cleveland Stadium hosted the New York Yankees. Of course. Of course.
That's hard to believe.
Of course. No, but it's Atlanta. Atlanta and Cincinnati are playing in the game tomorrow in
and
Bristol.
the two dogs, and they're still going to get 80,000 people. So
well, those are the two closest that can come that are close to Tennessee. That's why.
But you want to break a record, get two good teams in there.
So who?
I mean?
Yankees and the Dodgers. You want to play them there? They're not going to do that.
Imagine that. That would have been unbelievable.
I am interested to see if people watch. You know what I mean? Like we're still in the summer. Do people tune in? Like because the Field of Dreams game was awesome. Like they did it too many times, but the first one was awesome. That was cool.
Yeah.
Like
that was pretty cool.
They have
something different anyway.
Right, but baseball has a hard time. Oh, we did it once, we got to do it again. You don't need to do it. Like this is a cool idea. I'm interested if people will actually tune in to see it.
I know NASCAR does it a lot. They do it 3 races.
Yeah.
Like the Chicago Street Course, they're not going to go back. They're going to go back to the oval. But it's, it's the TV that TV controls
there you
it
go.
all.
There you go.
No bottom line, they control it all.
So off of that, you mentioned there was nobody at the race at the Brickyard, which is cool. You were at the very first one, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
And that was packed when you went, but that was granted that was 30 years ago.
Right. The place was just loaded. It was packed.
Yeah, it's not the case.
But all the races have been that way this year. They're really.
But ratings-wise,
the TV numbers are good.
That's what I was going to say. Ratings-wise, everything is up.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you, did the in-season tournament work?
Well, I paid attention, but
you were gonna watch though. That's not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. No matter what, if I'm here, it's on.
Yeah.
So.
Were you able?
But that's not everybody's the same.
Well, were you able to follow it? I tried to. I couldn't follow who was in and who was out in the tournament.
Well, it's just like a basketball bracket. Is all it was.
It was hard. I can't get it. Anyway.
I really wanted Dylan to win the whole thing because he was definitely a Cinderella.
Yeah. They're in Iowa. They're not too far from us here this weekend, and now NBC gets it back. So before we do that, how did TNT do? What did you think?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
It was nowhere near as good as Prime. I think Prime did better than all.
So Amazon you liked the most?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's good news.
Other than their blurry TV thing, but
that might be.
I watched the Yankees the other night on it, and it was perfect.
Oh, so that might be a internet connection, not an Amazon deal. I'm just telling you.
Why is it perfect on one thing and not the other? It's crazy.
I'll get our engineers to call you. Okay, I can't figure it out. I don't know.
I'll be waiting for that call.
But NBC has it starting this weekend, correct? They have it the rest of the way.
Yeah,
and
I'll mute that.
You're not a fan?
No doubt in my mind, I will mute that.
All right. All right. Last thing before we go, have you been watching Steelers training camp? You've been taking it all in of every minute of Aaron Rodgers at training camp?
We'll see. I actually think they're going to be better off, but we'll see what happens.
See, I said the same thing. How'd that work out?
Yeah, I know.
Not so great.
There's a big difference between the Jets and the Steelers, for sure.
There is?
Yes,
What's
there
that?
is.
What's the difference?
Pride.
Outside of the
Pride.
the five
Jets
Super
ain't got-
Bowls, what's the
the
difference?
Jets ain't got no pride.
Oh, hey, we got plenty of pride. We're just not very
got
good.
Hope. They got hope.
All right, we get out of here. I love you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather, and we'll do that. We're getting ready here. We're 4 weeks out from the season opener, so you get your picks ready, okay?
Can't wait. Should be fun.
We'll do it in about 4 weeks to get it going for real with Dad's picks each and every Friday. I love you. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later.
Yep. I love you too. Have fun.
There he goes, my pops. A Friday appearance during the summertime. We had to break him away from doing nothing, but we appreciate him coming on this morning. And his picks weekly will be back coming up at the end of the month to get ready for the start of the season. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll wrap things up, get you ready for a great sports weekend. Hot Mike wraps after this on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV, KMBN, and Inforum.com. Yeah. Guy who hits dingers. Twins are looking for anybody right now. Wrapping things up here on a Friday morning. Appreciate all of our guests. We got a great lineup of guests. Really appreciate that. We're done with July. We've flipped it to August. We're back next week, and we're off and rolling. A week from today, we'll be live up at Bison Media Day, and we're off and going, folks. Looking forward to that. Our next sit-down show is coming up this Sunday night. Andrew Armacost will join me, UND president. Some really good conversation there. Check it out Sunday night, 10:35. We chat about the 3 coaching changes that went down over the last few months, obviously with women's basketball, with hockey, and with football. We actually spent quite a bit of time on the nickname issue, and I was really appreciative of his openness to discuss it, his openness on wanting to see every team embrace it, because certainly, obviously, one does not. That's coming up. You'll want to check that out on Sunday night, 10:35. That's our third one of 4. Our final one is a week from Sunday, and we've got some nice feedback on it, and I hope we get a chance to keep doing some more. It's a different format of what we do here every day, and I've appreciated our guests coming by. So that's coming up Sunday night. Looking forward to that, 10:35 on WDAY right after the news. All right, poll question before we go, because we got a couple of deals of what to watch. We set this out for the start of the show. For Twins fans, exact emotion today after seeing what happened yesterday. That might be more of a shot of where we're at right now. The 34% said acceptance, 26% disappointment, 22% frustration, 19% anger. The acceptance part means they're ambivalent to me, and that's the spot you don't want to be in a fan base. That you just say, that is not where you want to be. If you think, like Kyle said, we've given up, that's not a good spot. And I'm just curious again, when they come back home next week, who's going to be at the ballpark? Just, I don't know. It ain't going to be pretty, folks, for the next 2 months. Wouldn't it be crazy if they got crazy hot and made the wild card? Wouldn't that be the most unbelievable major league kind of thing? I don't see it happening, but it could. All right, let's do some what to watch, both for today and the weekend before we get out of here. All right, what to watch is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. For tonight, if you want to, the Twins game tonight ought to be a humdinger. 6 o'clock against the Guardians on Twins TV. I would watch, obviously, for what Cory Provus has to say. I think that'd be really fun. The Wyndham Championship second round continues 2 p.m. on the Golf Channel. That's coming up later today. That's the final event before the FedEx Cup playoffs get going, so you can check that out later this afternoon. And the Little League Regionals are underway. The Midwest Regional later. The team from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, we know we got a bunch of people that watch us down there, will take on the team from Iowa. That's at 3 o'clock on ESPN+. The Fargo team played the first game out of the chute against the team from Minnesota, and right now they're ahead 10-3. So good job of the Fargo team as they play in the bottom of the 6th. Our thanks to Cory Provus for joining us, of course, to my pops and to Cason Borchardt. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY Plus. Everybody have a great weekend. Get out there and enjoy it. And we'll see you back here on Monday on Hot Mic on WDAY Extra, WDAY Plus, and Inforum.com. See you Monday, everybody.